Hello, this is Mark Abelli with The Art of Diesel, where we are all about diesel and automotive efficiency, performance, and independence. And today I'm going to show you that I've really got almost everything I need to go ahead and do the performance upgrades on Ivana, the turbo diesel. We are going to be pumping this thing up to perhaps around 400 horsepower. We'll see how it actually comes out when we actually test it, when all is said and done. Well, let me go ahead and show you the parts that we've got that are so important to this upgrade. Now, it turns out that the Lithuanian turbocharger, the hybrid turbo that I bought from some other guys a while back, should actually be good to go for the 38 PSI roughly we're talking about in terms of boost. It should keep up, should be okay. Nice billet compressor on it. It appears to be a good turbo. So let's go ahead and just keep that. We're keeping the Mishimoto intercooler. We've already deleted things like EGR and other blockages to the system, such as swirl vanes and that sort of thing. So where we're going next is really that we need more fueling. So the first step in that process is that we have purchased a set of injectors here. These we purchased through Drew. They're S&S, and my understanding is that these would be good for approximately 100 horsepower per injector. So that's how much fuel they're flowing. That doesn't mean the rest of the engine can keep up with that we have enough air, cooling, all of that to keep up with it. But these injectors would have the potential of bringing this engine to 600 horsepower. It gives us headroom for later in case we decide to go really crazy with this thing at a later time. And Drew, of course, threw in this kit right here. It's got the sealing washers, super important on a direct injection engine, and these bolts. I'm not sure exactly what alloy these are, but they definitely stretch when you install them. You can't reuse these. These are absolutely necessary when you're installing injectors. S&S diesel, go ahead and create these injectors for me, or I should say take stock injectors and increase the flow rate on them and do testing. So I've got a test sheet on this. We have to keep up with that, right? We have to provide a lot more fuel than we did stock. And so part of the way this is done is that we bought an OM628 pump. This is for I think a 4-liter V8. I should really look up the OM628, which is what this is for. But the bottom line is you get more pressure and more flow that's needed for these. Now, this injection pump will fit on the front of the engine with some minor modifications. I will show you how I do that when I do that. I'll make it a little bit prettier first. It looks kind of rough. It is a used part, but this is supposedly good for about 450 horsepower. Now, this could be the limitation, but there are other limitations on the car. Again, we're really shooting for about 400 horsepower. We're not going to get too crazy on the fueling. We're not going to put in more fuel than our engine can deal with. Now, another important thing that we're including is the pump coupler. The guys at Black Smoke will say that these do go. I don't know how common it is. Drew hasn't experienced it, but you know, it's cheap insurance. These are not that expensive, and it's stronger than the stock one. This is a Black Smoke pump coupler. They do sell them on their website, and you can buy them through Drew at Mid-Tennessee Diesel. Most of the parts I'm showing you here were purchased through Drew. Again, the injection pump, these injectors were purchased through Drew, as well as this. Next thing that I purchased from Drew at Mid-Tennessee Diesel is this turbo outlet pipe. Now, this is a really beautifully welded, nicely crafted piece of hardware, and it bolts up. As far as I can tell, I've looked up underneath the car and kind of did a quick comparison, that it has the stock bolt-up attachment points. This end does attach to our stock and hybrid turbos. Of course, hybrid turbos are called that because they can bolt up like they're stock, right? And so this will fit into stock or the modified hybrid turbo, the Lithuanian one that I have. And this end here is a bit different from what I have. So the stock hose is not going to connect to this. This is going to give me an excuse to go underneath and start taking measurements and look at what I can do with my hoses. One thing that Drew mentioned is that as we drive to higher pressures, we might want to look at an alternative to stock hoses. So what we have right now on both sides of the engine, between the engine and the intercooler, on the engine side, we have those black hoses that are stock for the intercooler, but then they adapt to silicone hoses that go in and out of the intercooler directly. So as Drew has mentioned, I need to be taking a look at that. What I don't want to be stuck on the side of the road with a blown hose or stuck in limp mode in what should be a powerful, very fun to drive, very reliable car. So that's going to give me an excuse to upgrade hoses, and probably going to go to metal tubing wherever I can. I'll still need some silicone in there in order to have flex, because the engine moves relative to the chassis, and so you have to have some flex. This is also very important. We're going to drive to higher pressures. We cannot use the stock map sensor, so I have the Bosch 4-bar map. I'll show that to you. I'll give the part number in the description of the video, and this is necessary in order to deal with the higher boost that we're going to see now. Obviously, we have to be able to measure the boost so that we can control it. And you have to have a little bit of overhead. You have to be able to measure a boost higher than your target. Otherwise, you won't know if you've overshot. While we're talking about pipes that connect to the turbo, let's talk about this bad boy. This is my down pipe. This end will bolt up to the turbo and it'll come down underneath the car. I grabbed one of these clamps because the current one on the car is kind of buggered. But again, what Drew has done with this design is he's made certain that we bolt up like stock. We also have the sensor bung right here, just like stock, but this thing is gonna flow nice and smooth. There's nothing remaining from a catalyst or anything like that here. This is race hardware. This is a very nice piece of performance hardware. I can hardly wait to get it in. Again, I'm gonna point out beautiful welds. Just beautiful welds on this equipment. It's well machined. I have to believe, just knowing who made it, this is going to be fantastic. One more thing, I've never been happy with the glow shift gauges. Accuracy and just kind of glitzy, you know. The thing is that you've got a nice, tasteful dash. I know a lot of people think, oh, I'm going for high performance, and they get the white face clusters with the black instead of the other way around. Me, I just like the classic good looks of a black gauge face with white numbers and white markings and a white needle. And, well, you know, I don't want it to be glitzy. It does need to be backlit. Most importantly, it needs to be accurate. So what I did, I talked with Drew about it. I said, what does he recommend? And he recommended this company, ISS Pro, or maybe they pronounce it IS Pro, I don't know. But the bottom line is that these guys are an OEM manufacturer. They're trusted by OEMs to build the stuff that you might buy in your cluster from the factory. We're looking at nice black faces with white numbers, white tick marks, white needle, and white backlighting. These are going to go very well with the stock VDO cluster that's in my car. These do come with a nice install kit. You can just see it inside the blister packs here. And well, this one is mostly hose because this is a mechanical boost gauge, so it's just gonna, the pressure's actually just gonna come right through the firewall and into this device. And this one, of course, comes with its own thermocouple to be installed into the exhaust system. Actually, it'll install into the exhaust manifold just upstream of the turbo. But anyhow, when I install it, I will take video of that and share it. My next step is to actually get the car up in the air, get up underneath, and start taking measurements from this and what's on there, and figuring out what I actually need to do for the hoses from this to the intercooler, and then also from the intercooler to the up pipe, because again, like Drew had mentioned, I should probably be upgrading beyond the stock rubber hoses that maybe saw I don't know, 18, 19, 20 PSI maybe. We're gonna be putting 38 PSI through this equipment, so we definitely need to make it as good as possible, nice and tight. I don't want anything, I don't want hoses popping off. I don't want hoses popping. I'm gonna throw some paint on this baby. Now, you know that our Art Diesel colors are blue and orange. That engine's all blue. We need some orange, so. Yes, it's gonna happen. And that's about all for now. I hope to be digging into this for real soon and getting it all together, getting tunes from Drew for it, and being able to post information on that. So what I did was I bought these from, I have chickens invading my workshop. Let me chase out the chickens.